Well, greetings everyone, and welcome once again to another Wednesday night right here at the Sportz Krib. Boy, I see we have some almost famous people here tonight. I don't know. I might have to turn the show over to Dave and let Dave run the show. But hey, Dave, what's going on tonight, man? I got you up here. Oh, you were there. There you go.
So, back home after
I heard after I'm back home after.
what's that?
Uh, no, we didn't hear you say you were back home after.
I got back. I was in Pittsburgh over the weekend. I went to the home opener.
You went to that debacle. I know. Were they did they give you some money back?
Oh man, they look bad, but I had a great weekend other than the game.
All right. Well, I see Bo is here. Bo, what's going on tonight, there, my man?
What's happening, gentlemen?
I see you've been busy all around both arena football and was it WNBA?
Yeah. The WNBA is in the playoffs, so it's a lot of time in the stadium.
And Demetrius is here. What's going on? Our world traveler managed to make it to us tonight. What's going on?
Nice.
Hey guys, like at the hotel. I was like, I got to talk to my guys tonight. Good to see you, Bo. Good to see you, Dave. Sorry about the Steelers. I'm glad you had a good trip anyway. That's a good way to put it. Had a good trip except for the game. Sometimes that happens, right?
Exactly. I wasn't gonna pile on. Like,
well, don't worry, Bo. I'll give you a chance a little later on.
Yeah, James will do that.
But guys, what do you think about this guy Raleigh? When I originally wrote the script there, he was at 54, and I think he had 2 home runs in one game. So now he's at least at 56. I don't know, and that was yesterday. Is he playing today? He might,
Playing right now.
yeah, the game's right now.
You guys here with the Black Sox usually, but I know you're all baseball fans, so I'm gonna start with Demetrius. What do you think about this guy, man?
Well, I mean, there's a couple of simple rules, and I know it's Bo's guy, so I won't take too much of it. But anytime your name gets mentioned with Mickey Mantle, it ain't a bad thing, right? Right? Anytime someone references 1961, it ain't a bad thing. And to me, I'll keep it short. Being a switch hitter, I don't know if it gets as much due as it should, right? And this guy's got more than 20 from both sides of the plate. That's as impressive to me as any of this, because he's not just somebody who's really good from one side and okay from the other side. He appears to be equally as dangerous. And there's all kinds of things. Griffey Jr.'s name is being mentioned with him now, and there's Seattle records and WAR numbers. I won't get too baseball geeky, but you can just tell when they talk about you, the kind of stuff they say with your name tells you everything you need to know. And if they're saying Mickey Mantle and single season this and single season that, you know you're doing something pretty special.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, it's exactly that, right? Like, so when he had 54 a couple of games ago, yeah, he was tied with Mickey Mantle for a single season record for a switch hitter. And then, he hits 2 the other night. He's now currently tied with Ken Griffey Jr. for the Mariners all-time home run record. That's a pretty solid name to be mentioned with as well, right? So, yeah, what he's doing is amazing. And then, of course, you pair that with the fact that he's a catcher, right? So arguably one of the hardest positions to play on a baseball field. So, I mean, there's a reason he's being talked about with that MVP, because, I mean, not only is he a gold glover as a defenseman, but I mean, he's yanking the cover off the ball. Obviously, Judge is, his batting average is a little better. He has some of those stats, but when you're looking at total defense and stuff like that, Cal has a real shot at it.
Yeah, it's I was looking on like I said the other day, it was 54. Now it's 56. I'm not sure how many more games you got. How many more games is there in the season, guys?
11, including tonight's.
Yeah.
Okay. Dave, what's your thoughts there? I mean, I know he's not a Pirate, but
No, it's extraordinary. And, like Bo said, especially since he's been playing catcher for most of the season. I noted in the box score tonight, though, they have him as a designated hitter. So I'm wondering, I don't know how much he's played DH, but maybe what they're doing is they're trying to give him an opportunity to hit that 60.
He has 43 as a catcher, I know, right? Isn't something like that, or 45 now, I guess.
Yeah, so he's done the bulk of the lifting from the catcher position. It's just the normal rotation, right? Yep. That most baseball teams have, right? Where they have a couple of catchers, just because it's tough to play 162 games on, like that. Yeah. That's a lot of workload for a catcher. So he's actually had the standard workload of a team that has, a couple of catchers. He's been hitting good enough that he's taken the DH role on any of his off nights. Right. So that's kind of how that's played out.
Well, we can't get through this segment without saying the word dumper, right? Nobody has said nobody said big dumper yet. And we almost got through the whole story about Cal Raleigh. And I was leaving it for Dave, and Dave just passed it up. And I was like, all right, I guess we circle back.
Well, I mean, on the plus side, he's going to break Griffey's record because he's going to definitely provide the big dumper all over Colorado.
Right. Exactly. He gets the Rockies to do what he needs to do.
Now, Bo, Dave, go ahead. We kind of interrupted you there.
Yeah, no, I was just, making that point, but I think, it's an extraordinary achievement, and I just hope I hope he gets it, because it'd be tough to be this close, have enough games where he should be able to do it, but it's not easy, even if he wasn't catching. Having even if he was just a designated hitter, to hit that many home runs is still pretty good with today's pitching. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, Bo, what do you think? I mean, is he still going to get behind the plate, or do you think they're going to let him do the DH to try to break this record?
Well, I mean, he only needs one more over the next 10 games. I'd be surprised if he doesn't get it, especially playing teams like the Rockies. They always play Houston tough, which is our next series. And then they wrap it up against the Dodgers, who their starting pitchers are nice. Their bullpen leaves something to be desired. So, he could probably hit a dinger or two off of their bullpen. So he's going to have opportunities. But yeah, he's still going to do the bulk of the work behind the plate. I mean, that's his starting role.
Okay. What year was that when we had, we had a kind of era when the catchers were the man. It's kind of, I guess, a bright spot to see that position come back into, prominence.
Yeah, well, I mean, the era that those catchers were hitting bombs, there were some other guys with some needles in their arms. So,
right.
That was about that same era.
I hit that purist vein there. Okay. Oh man. But what about them Tigers there, Mr. Burgess? What's going on over there in Detroit?
We're bored. It's August. We've been leading the division wire to wire since mid-April, and I think the magic number is 6. And so we got a little bit of work to do. I think that Cleveland's scrappy. They're not going away, but it's the magic number 6. And we still have Tarek Scuba last time I checked. I'm not too worried about it. I think that they've had the best record or the second best record in the AL for the bulk of the season. The makeup of the team is a Detroit team. It's made up like the city. They just, outside of Scooble, I mean, Riley Green's an all-star and a really, really good player. And then we just got a bunch of scrappy dudes that just show up for work, and we have one of the best managers in baseball in AJ Hinch. The key thing is playoff baseball is different than regular season baseball. Because in regular season, you play every day. You've got to have, in a perfect world, Bo can check me if I'm wrong, you want 4 guys and then something you can work with on the 5th day, whether we call it pitching chaos or bullpen session. Mr. Carroll, good to see you, sir. But the difference is in playoffs, you get a day off, right? So in playoff baseball, in theory, you really just need 3 guys at the top and the back end of your bullpen. And that is why I'm not worried about the Tigers, because in a 7-game series, Scooble can pitch 3 of those games if we want him to, right? And then whether it's Jack Flaherty or Casey Mize, I like the pitching that we have, and then we just got these guys throughout the lineup that find a way. I think they're a little bored now. We'll eventually put Cleveland away and finish first or second. Probably get a bye. I don't really care that much about it because, like I said, every 4th or 5th day I get to put Tarek Scooble on the mound. So I'm not really worried. I'm ready to get to the playoffs. I'm bored. I shouldn't say they're bored. I should say I'm bored. I'm ready to get to the playoffs and see really where this team stacks up. We took 2 out of 3 from the Yankees last week. I like us in the AL. I mean, there's nobody that scares me, put it that way. And the key, like I said, is I get to put Scooble on the bump 3 times in a 7-game series if I want to, if I line it up right. So I like our chances.
You guys are kind of messing around trying to lose that first round bye, though.
They're bored. I don't think they're going to. But if they do, I'm not worried. Whatever. I really want them to just go ahead and put them. We got 4 more, 5 including tonight, against Cleveland to put them away. And the magic number is only 6. So
see, this is how you know I'm a Mariners fan, and I've endured this team a long time. And that is the correct word for it. We are leading our division. We're 2 games behind Detroit for a potential bye.
Right.
I'm still not necessarily convinced we make the playoffs.
And I'm not worried about that at all.
We have 10 games left.
If you got a magic number, you're doing something right. That's my feeling. If you're in September and they're talking about you with a magic number, you've been doing something right. And baseball is that game that it's not about streaks and all that, man. It's 6 months. If we get to mid-September and you're there, you deserve to be there. You're there for a reason. You're there because you're good. There's no reason to not be confident about your first place team who's got a 5.5-game lead in mid-September. What the hell have you been watching all summer? Because they've obviously been doing something right.
That's the difference is you got some room. Whereas, us and Houston and the Rangers, we're within
right there.
3 games of each other, right? And then, I mean, when you're looking at the bottom of the playoff, Boston is half a game behind Houston. The Guardians are, close. I think the Royals finally just decided
they might do that.
Yeah, they decided Cabo sounded nice, but outside of
that,
that,
by the way, it's very nice.
That third spot is no joke in the AL.
Yeah, absolutely. So but short answer is I think we'll be fine. We're able to get to the playoffs. That's all.
Bill, we were talking about Mr. Raleigh there, and as I noted when I first sent it out, it was at 54, but he's at 56 now and counting. So what's your thoughts on Mr. Raleigh? Got all my baseball guys in here tonight. Good evening there, Mr. Scott.
The Twins are 20 games back. Scott's not a baseball guy. What the hell are you talking about?
Good evening. Good evening. I'm great.
Twins stopped playing baseball in July. I don't know why you called him
I'm great to be in the midst of such great patriots.
Yes, you are.
Some of the greatest patriots. It's just wonderful to be in your midst. Right. So thank you. Thank you very much. I'm so humble. I'm very humble.
And Dave appreciates it. Dave appreciates the accolades.
To allow me to be in the midst of such greatness. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Go ahead, Bill. Your thoughts on Mr. Raleigh?
Well, as I was saying, I mean, he's good, right? I mean, I think that we've established that he's good. The question sometimes comes up when someone's a really great hitter is how long do you let them stay a catcher? I'm hoping it'll be like we've seen with at least a few where they just leave them alone, like with Piazza. I mean, he messed around a little bit with playing first, and I think he might even had a couple games at third, but people usually let him play his natural position, which is catcher. I'm hoping that's what will happen. We don't get to see too many truly great hitting catchers nowadays. So I'm hoping that they just say, you know what, if you end up playing a year or two less at the back end of your career than you would have, it's worth it. Because very often you are platooning that position to a certain anyway because just the demands on it. The ability to have somebody who is a above average defensive catcher and a once every 25-year offensive catcher, I think sort of tilts the field a little bit if you can put together the right team around it. So that's a terrific baseball player. And I hope that the people who are, trying to quote unquote protect him don't win the argument and he gets to stay at catcher.
So he's going to get to stay at catcher because the Mariners are never going to care about the backside of his, because they're not going to pay him. So as soon as his contract comes up, whatever the next team is can deal with that situation, but he'll be a catcher as long as he's in Seattle.
Yeah. But catchers don't seem to have that long. I mean, look at the great hitters that were like Yogi Berra. Guys that were really hitters, they ended up going to left field, going to first base, and so I just don't think that all these great catchers are going to catch their whole career, especially if they got a big stick. Especially if they have a big stick.
I mean, for every person you mentioned, I can also throw back at you that while Johnny Bench occasionally lined up someplace else, 88-point-something% of the games he played his career were caught.
Yeah.
Carlton Fisk, the number's slightly less, but not that much less. You can.
But Bill, you just pulled the greatest catchers of all time. You didn't pick regular dudes. You just chose probably the two greatest catchers ever. That's not the bar. To me, it's not even about his big stick. It's about his big body. You can't do that. And I think this is Mr. Scott saying, your body's not meant to do that. He'll be a DH in Boston when, like Bo said, when Seattle's done, he'll DH in Boston, which is the right move, right? Business move, right for longevity of his career, right for his productivity. It doesn't make Bill happy, but it's the right thing in every other respect because maybe he won't be Carlton Fisk or Johnny Bench. Okay.
So two things going to be true. He's going to do it his entire career in Seattle.
Exactly.
Here's my last thing is you don't know what someone can do unless you let them try it. But two, the human body wasn't meant to catch. Period. I mean, it's not a natural act, right? There's nothing normal or natural about. Like you can look at positions in baseball and say, "Oh, that's like something I've done when I'm not playing baseball." When you see an outfielder run over, grab something and throw it. When you see even a second baseman or a shortstop, that looks like something you might have done in another sport, or even just, maybe you work at a food plant where you have to, occasionally pick stuff up and throw it. There's nothing analogous to other human activities that is like what catchers do. It is not like any other human activity. So by its very nature, it's an unnatural event. It's an unnatural position that requires unnatural things. I already get that part. I just think it'd be really cool to see how far he could take being the greatest power hitting catcher since Johnny Bench. I just thought that'd be cool.
Yeah. So, Bill, what I want you to do is go put on every day for the next 6 months, go put on 12 pounds of equipment, 15 pounds of equipment, and do 115 squats over 3 hours. Got to do it in 3 hours. Do 115 squats with 15 pounds.
Right. And plus, he doesn't hit 250. He doesn't hit 250. He's not a high average. He doesn't hit 250. I mean,
and then go out and hit 50 pounds
home runs
as you do your 100 squats. Yeah. It's not natural. I think for the best for business, wherever he is going to eventually be for him to DH. That's what's going to happen.
Bill, are they setting off fireworks in Chicago? The first time you guys made the playoffs since what, 2020?
I don't think anyone sets off fireworks based off that. Chicago baseball is two very different things, right? And I'm more a White Sox fan than I'm a Cubs fan because I actually care about baseball. So you have
that's a shot.
Great. That was awesome.
What a shot.
Man, Cubby's just taking strays.
happy birthday to me. So you have this wonderful edifice up north where tourists go and people have open air dating, and they do also have baseball games. I want to make it clear there are baseball games played. And then you have this rather nondescript, quote unquote, ball mall on the south side of Chicago where only true hardcore baseball fans go, because it is not a tremendously fun environment, to be honest, other than, the fun of baseball. The special days, the giveaways. Yeah, the occasional, it's a Mark Burley bobblehead or whatever. They do that too, but mostly it's like, hey, I got a scratch off for 50% off a deep dish pizza or whatever. It's you're there to watch a baseball game and maybe drink a couple of beers and probably a fairly, mid-level piece of food. But
hey, don't forget your car got stolen.
No, it's right off of 94. It's easy to get to. It's right off 94. It's easy access.
Very easy to get to.
It's just right off 94. Bam.
Both by train and by car. Very easy to get to. Very easy to get to. And lots of seats available, unlike up north. So really, it's a much different and I think superior experience because I'm not trying to date. So
Anymore.
Right, correct. Anymore. I got proof of that. But
lockdown.
Yes, completely. The baseball scene in Chicago, as I mentioned before, it's like literally a tale of two cities, right? It is two very different things. The Cubs have these streams of income, right, that are not even baseball related. Like the Ricketts and others have money, like money. I'm not saying that like you can cry poor on the South Side, don't get me wrong, but it's not the same kind of money. It's a different kind. The quality and the quantity of the money is not the same. So, yeah, there's no fireworks being had here.
I like that you're saying they have Temu baseball is really what you're putting.
He's not mad at the Cubs or the stadium. He's taking a shot at the fans, in case you guys didn't get it.
Yes,
his issue is with Cubs fans, and he's not wrong, by the way.
I am not.
I don't know. Dave, Cubs fan or Pirates fan?
Well, actually, they lost 8-4 today, and to the Cubs, right? And but they were eliminated Monday. You guys are talking about magic numbers and all that. Well, Pittsburgh's magic number was eliminated on Monday when they were eliminated from the playoffs, and they've lost 2 since then. So there's, not much to say. They got to finish out this season, and until the owners invest in some bats, they're not going to go anywhere. They got some pitching, but you need some lumber to support the pitching, and until that happens, they're not going anywhere.
Yeah, Andrew McCutchen. DH. I mean, that's how long can they keep putting Andrew McCutchen out there as a DH?
Right. Well, they brought him back, really to try to attract fans back because he had been very popular, and then they traded him away. And
great in the club,
and he loved playing in Pittsburgh. Named his son Steele, and then they got rid of him, and so the Pirates fans are kind of disgusted with the ownership.
Well, if I could just say a couple of things, I want to just skip the script here. Two things I wanted to tune into now that Bo's here. I've got to hear something about Sam Darnold. I've got to hear that. And then I need to hear from James and Dave about your great Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh,
We haven't gotten to football yet.
He's
wait,
on
wait,
the way
wait,
out.
hold on, hold on.
He's on the way out. He's a wrap.
Is,
He's on the way out.
is this the man that lost to the Falcons 20-6? Oh,
It's gonna be hot tonight. It's gonna be hot tonight. Oh wow!
Already bounced out. You know, it's funny too because his team actually got better now that Wentz is going to start.
Maybe I'm a little more scared. Yeah. Oh, I'm actually not.
Yeah.
Well, that dish bounced right back. Must have bounced off the screen.
That was
Right
an early bounce too. He signed out. We haven't even started football yet. We were doing a little
My
baseball.
connection is bad.
I'm already upset
My
about.
connection.
He said
My
his connection.
connection is bad.
I'm already upset. I'm
I'm glad I
already
showed
upset
up
about my Steelers.
I'm glad I showed up just for this segment.
Yeah, it's worth it. I was about to say I missed Sue's corner, but this got hot. I was like, wait, can we shout out to Miss Carrie? We already talked about one lovely lady in the family, and we skipped Sue's corner.
We got one.
Hey, but Bill, don't let her hear you're done with dating because she's gonna want some of those.
Well, let me rephrase. I'm not looking to date the belly shirt and earbuds crowd that I'm going to run into at the average Really Field game, and that's just the dudes.
Right. Yeah, Bill's good. Bill understands how this game works. He's done well. Bill's done well. I can vouch for Bill's done well.
Good.
Yeah, I'm back online. Oh,
Your connection. Your connection's better. That's great.
Yeah, so come on.
No, actually, that makes a lot of sense because that was the same connection that McCarthy had with his receivers.
Exactly. But bump. Ouch.
I can take the smoke. That's it. But it's going to be your turn coming up, so that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm with it.
I already got mine, so I mean, But anyway, Dave, can we do a little Sue's Corner here? Maybe.
Yes.
We'll on in a minute. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's football related and something that we talked about a couple weeks ago after the 70-yard field goal. So here's Sue's Corner. We've had some amazing field goal scoring already this year. Teams have made 5 kicks longer than 55 yards in each of the first 2 weeks of this season. Before this season, teams used a special football that players did not have access to until the game days. Those are the K-balls. Each team would realistically have about 30 minutes to brush, massage, and otherwise break in 3 footballs. In 2020, that time was increased to an hour. Under rules adopted this season, teams receive 60 footballs for the season before the start of training camp. Kickers can work those footballs into the shape they want, learning exactly how they will respond. And those footballs are definitely responding. One coach said the fact you get to kick with the ball in practice is a huge difference. You are not supposed to use pressure or stand on the ball or put it in a clothes dryer. But how can they tell what you are doing when you get to have the balls at your own facility? These are things that the kickers work on. Ball selection involves choosing a worked-in football for maximum contact surface and fatter ball shape for increased bounce in a larger sweet spot, while also considering a consistent, well-placed hold with appropriate leaning for the optimal strike. So for the ball, for the worked-in ball, that's, kickers prefer balls that have been worked in, meaning that it's been, massaged and broken in and is softer and more pliable. So it's not like hard plastic. They also like a fatter shape. So rather than a narrow, they want it a little bit fatter so that they have more surface area for the foot to strike. And then that creates more bounce. So that you get compression when the ball is struck, which can help minimize miss hits and enhance the accuracy and distance of the kick. So whatever they are doing, it is obviously working, and that's Sue's Corner.
Based on that
I
description,
just find it interesting because this is all related to, you have the K ball, you have special balls for the kickers. Each team has their own balls for their offenses. So there's a set of balls for the home team and a set of balls for the away team. And then they have so much time where, and we all know this from the Tom Brady Patriots debacle, with the deflate gate, where they get to manipulate the balls. And so it sounds like, the NFL, they're actively trying to make the kickers more accurate, longer kicks, which there's probably a sports books around, with odds on, what the longest field goal is going to be, and et cetera.
Well, you can do that on DraftKings and MGM Sports Books.
Right.
You can go on any of them. Just look at prop bets. There's
Yeah, but
Yeah.
with the Deflategate, who's the one that manipulated the ball? I mean, did the coach know about it? They tried to say, Brady had to take the fall for it somehow, but then there's a guy that's supposed to handle those balls and do all that. Brady don't have anything to do with that.
Oh,
But
yes, absolutely.
he
The
was
quarterback
suspended for
does,
4
because each quarterback has their own specifications as to how they want that ball.
Yeah, but he was
And to
suspended
think
for
that they're
4 games.
manipulating a ball without the quarterback knowing it, there's no way.
Tom Brady
he was
literally
Because you
suspended
could
for
have
4
another
games.
quarterback, and another quarterback is going to want to have that ball to another pressure and have it broken in a different way. So no, I'm not going to sit here and defend Tom Brady. And I don't think that it's.
What about the coach? What about the coaches?
Hold
That's his job.
on, Mr. Scott.
That's his job to handle the ball.
We have
The coach doesn't pass the ball in the game.
our guest is here tonight, Mr. Van. I know he's like one of the family, but Jeffrey, how you doing this evening?
Hey, I'm doing good tonight. Glad to be aboard.
Yeah,
You
gonna talk a
walked
little.
right into a shit show, Jeffrey. Sorry.
So Jeffrey, there's a lot of things happening in college football, especially a lot of things around your conference here. Being the guest, I'm gonna let you kind of start out here. What's going on? Clemson 1-2. You got Georgia Tech upset them this weekend. What's happening? I know we got some coaches on the hot seat here. What's going on already in your conference there, Jeffrey?
Yeah, I think the big story. Through 3 weeks. Of course. Oh, sorry. Yeah, of course. You got to start with Miami right now.
Yep.
They look like a team that can, get into the national title chase. Carson Beck has looked outstanding in the early part of the season. They beat Notre Dame in that opening game, who now they're 0-2, but that's still a big win for them. And then they took on a South Florida team that had a lot of people, after they knocked off Florida, and they really toyed with South Florida, honestly. I didn't think Miami even played that well, and that game was never in doubt. And now they got Florida themselves coming up this week. They have talent on that team, but I think most people expect Miami to take care of Florida. So, they're a team that looks like they're going to be in the thick of the top 5, top 6 the entire season. Then you go to Florida State, how they've started out the year knocking off Alabama. I think that kind of shocked everyone except maybe those in the Florida State camp. Nobody saw that coming. Thomas Castellanos, the transfer from BC, basically predicted a win for Florida State, and everyone's like, oh, wait, kind of pump the brakes there, and he completely backed it up. And they look dominant in that game. They look like they're going to be a factor the entire season. And then, as you talked about Clemson and Georgia Tech, we'll start with Georgia Tech. Brent Key, he's building in Atlanta. I mean, they are known for physical, tough football, and it started out on the road at Colorado. You take on a P4 team, turn the ball over 3 times in the first quarter, and most teams are getting blown out. And Georgia Tech won that game, outscoring Colorado 27-13 the rest of the way. And I know Colorado's not great, and Deion Sanders is messing around with his quarterbacks right now, but that kind of set the wheels in motion. And then when they played Clemson on Saturday, I mean, there was no question Georgia Tech was the better team, and it took a couple plays for Clemson. At one point, it's 3rd and 22 in the second quarter, and Clemson converts. And if that play doesn't get converted, I mean, it very well could have turned into a rout. Credit to Clemson for making that a game, but Georgia Tech, Haynes King, they have it's like a 7-1 record under Brent Key as a outright as underdogs, and now we got to see them play as like the favorite. I mean, there people are talking about, they could make a run to the playoffs, they can contend for the ACC. I mean, they're not under the radar anymore. And so the question is, how are they going to play now as a favorite down the stretch here? And I think that, I'm not saying they won't get upset here along the way. I think, games, I think NC State could be a dangerous game later in the year. Syracuse, the way they throw it, Boston College, even though they lost to Stanford, Lonigan, they got a really good quarterback. So by no means can you say they're going to get to Georgia, that Georgia game 11-0, but I like the way they're trending with Haynes King. I mean, if you beat them, you're going to have to bring your A game, because that guy is a refuse to lose type of player. And I think, I could definitely see him running off another several bunch of wins here before they lose, which I still kind of think they'll get upset at some point along the way, but that's a legitimate top 20 team. And then, of course, we got to talk about Clemson. I've went to both Clemson games, the LSU game and a Troy game, and something's wrong with that. Something's wrong with that offense, big time. When you look at Miami, Florida State, and Georgia Tech, I mean, they all have identities on offense, and it seems like Clemson just.
Did we lose Jeff?
Oh, I thought that was on my end.
They don't know if they want to be a passing team. They don't know if they want to have balance. Plays that were made 2 series ago seem to have no difference on what they run later in the game. I think Garrett Riley, as an offensive play caller, is really struggling right now. And the defense, which was supposed to be dominant and has got NFL talent all across that unit, has been good, but it has not been nearly as good as many people thought it would be. I mean, they're not coming up with stops late in games. When they got in that Georgia Tech game, Haynes King goes on a 90-yard drive for Georgia Tech to take the lead in that game in the fourth quarter. And against LSU, they couldn't get the stops they needed in that game. And then, even against Troy, I mean, they give up 16 points in the first half. The offense is a mess. And, the second half is a little bit more like you would expect. But, I mean, they've shown flashes, but they haven't put a complete game together. And I'm telling you, this weekend when they play Syracuse, if they're not, if they don't get things corrected, they're going to be in another dogfight with Syracuse, because that quarterback transfer from Notre Dame, and Angeli, he's one of the leading passers in the country. And if that defense is not ready, I mean, they're going to put up points. Now, they're not great on defense, but Clemson's terrible on offense right now. And that game could be a lot closer than that 17-point spread. I will say that those are like the big highlights. Cal and North Carolina State, those are 2 undefeated teams too, and they're a little bit under the radar, but they got really good quarterback play. CJ Bailey, and I just call him JKS there at Cal, because I don't even try to attempt to pronounce his name, but he's a freshman quarterback. who was also being highly recruited by Oregon. He went to Cal, and you look at Cal's schedule with that quarterback and that opportunistic defense. They don't have to play Georgia Tech, Florida State, or Miami. They could be your dark horse to get to Charlotte.
What about the Irish and A&M? What do you think about the way the Irish are starting out?
Notre Dame's got all kinds of issues defensively. They made the quarterback from Texas A&M look like a Heisman Trophy candidate. I mean, Notre Dame had to have that game. After they lost to Miami, they don't have the schedule the rest of the way that's going to make up a lot of ground. They could get a ranked USC team. NC State might be ranked at that time, but really there's not a lot of meat on that schedule after that Texas A&M game. And table, Notre Dame's going to have to run the table, and if they don't fix their defensive issues, I know Carr is he's a good young quarterback, but he can't carry that team if the defense is going to play the way they have most of the year. I mean, if Miami wouldn't have gone conservative in the fourth quarter and almost blew that game, I mean, they were up double digits on Notre Dame in that game, and the Irish, they've got to fix those defensive issues. Texas A&M, for their part, man, they look explosive on offense, though. I don't see them, coming through the SEC with the Georgias and the LSUs, but they'll be a factor. That's for sure.
Bo, you got any questions for Jeff?
No, I'm just hoping my Huskies can have a good showing in our conference.
Yeah, I got a question. Do you think the transfer portal stance is catching up to Dabo?
I do, and I mean, I think he's starting to show some signs of embracing it, but it's a little bit late.
It's late.
I mean, yeah. I mean, he got the transfer from Purdue, Held, who's probably been like their best defensive lineman this year. So he is starting to embrace it, but you're caught behind the 8 ball. Yeah. I mean, they have a converted wide receiver playing running back, and Adam Randall has been, he's been pretty good. You really can't, look at him, but what about the depth behind him? There's nothing behind him. And then you look at Georgia Tech, they got a player from Penn who's backing up Jamal Haynes. And, you can't tell me Clemson couldn't have gotten someone, a top player out of the Ivy League or out of the MAC, to add some depth, or, found a quarterback, even though I know Klubnik came back as a Heisman, candidate and NFL pick. But, I mean, there's not much behind him. There's Vincenta behind him. But, knowing how he's been erratic most of his career, I mean, he could have found someone that could maybe push Klubnik a little bit. I mean, right now Klubnik could play as bad as he wants to play, and he's not going to get replaced.
That's what it really seems to be showing, is that without the depth, there's no moving guys from positions is an indication you don't have depth when you're doing position changes like that. And it's like he let that time go by, and now he's behind the 8 ball. And it's showing on the field.
Exactly. I mean, they have, recruited pretty well. They have that kind of depth. But, I mean, these transfers coming in from other schools, and you see other teams do it. I mean, they have players with 2-3 years experience. And, give me a good quality small conference, all conference player, over a 4-star person right out of high school. And a lot of times they're gonna end up winning. At least they're gonna push, that young player, and that's what they're lacking from the player side. And the struggles of Garrett Riley, though, have been pretty surprising. I mean, he was so good at TCU, and that offense just has no identity at all right now.
Yeah. Yep. Agree.
Bo, what's happening on the state tour?
I mean, I don't know. We'll see. I don't know, right? Like we're not going to know until next year when you're talking Pac-12, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, we're not going to know until that all comes together next year, right? The entire conference of state schools, and then Gonzaga because they needed a basketball team.
All right.
You know, that's sort of a wait and see, right? This is the last year of a 2-team Pac-12. I think it'll be really funny if it happens like it did last year, where Wazoo was actually kind of decent and Oregon State was terrible. But because the championship game is between two schools and Oregon State pulled it off, they won the championship with they were a 3-win team, I think. So you know, that screams conference champion to me, right? So but they get to do that again this year. So next year will be the real kind of litmus test of what the Pac-12 is or isn't, right? I mean, at least there'll be playoff. There'll be a playoff eligible conference at least, so they'll have that going for them. But outside of that, I don't know how competitive it's really going to be. That's just going to be the class of 5 or 6, right? So,
but they got a TV deal.
They got a TV deal. Yeah, it's not as lucrative as the one they could have got when they still had good teams in their conference, but you know, they didn't want to sign that one. They held out for more money. Basically, that conference is the conference version of Nico leaving Tennessee.
Jeffrey, what do you think about the new portal rules? They closed off the one, right?
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to read it. I saw the headline that they closed the window.
Ooh, which one?
They went to a single one, but I don't think that they've set the dates yet.
Okay, then that's what I saw too. Yeah, I'm definitely all for that. I mean, right now any rules that bring some guidelines to the transfer portal, I think are a good thing. Now they just have to get the timing right. I think I would kind of hope it would be maybe after the postseason, so that the bowls can kind of return to being, you know, fun and meaningful. But I know there's that factor of school, so maybe they can kind of reach some kind of compromise towards that, and maybe open up the portal, you know, towards the end of the following academic year or something. You know, however they do it, I'd like to see the bowls kind of return to, you know, actually being meaningful. I mean, I know it'll never be the way it used to be because of the playoffs, but I think you would see more players play in those bowl games if they moved it. So I'm all for, you know, a single timeline. That'll help, you know, coaches plan. That'll help rosters be you know, put together for teams to prepare instead of the way it currently is. So, you know, the NCAA hasn't done a lot of things right with the portal, but they might have accidentally fallen on one that makes sense. We'll see.
Yeah. It's a mistake. If they got it right, it was a mistake.
Let's hear from Bill. You know, he watches 500 games a year.
My understanding is that it'll be available up to 2 weeks before the playoff semifinals. So in an odd sort of way, it works against you if you are in the playoffs, because you're really scrambling around because you're still trying to prepare for playoff games while you're trying to get whatever your portal business done. That's my understanding of what they're currently going to do. So as was mentioned, for both FBS and FCS, there'll be one open window, with the exception, once again, of players like we just talked about, Virginia Tech or whatever. If they fire the coach that recruited you, then, you know, all bets are off. But outside of those and a few other exceptions, I believe that's what's going to happen going forward. Really quickly, on Jaron Kiave Sangapututele, that kid has been terrific. And I remember when everyone was sort of losing it in Cal when they lost Mendoza, and I thought Mendoza was fantastic. This kid might be better. And it's not that difficult. Just treat it like you do Tagovailoa. There is a silent N right after the A. So it's just
finesse. JKS, Bill.
And the W is pronounced like a V. Other than
you can do that.
It's the simplest name of the world. It's just
You got it.
Sangaputele. It's not that difficult.
JKS. I'm sorry. You're my guy, Bill,
Yo.
but I ain't trying it.
It's the Office Space. It's Naga not gonna work here anymore anyway.
Right,
It's-
exactly.
Well, that kid's going to work for a while.
I'm working.
Assuming he doesn't
He's gonna be
transfer,
working on
but-
Sundays. He's
you
gonna be
know,
working on
that kid's
Sundays.
gonna- that kid's going to be around. I think I wanted to ask about Cal, right? Because both Cal and you mentioned also NC State, who also have an extremely talented quarterback. You mentioned Mr. Bailey, who, I'll be honest, he reminds me both physically and sometimes even in style of play of a young Randall Cunningham. I think both those guys one day will be stars. Or, Sangaputele and Bailey have enormous potential. And no offense to the SEC, but if you watch young quarterbacks with NFL talent, the ACC is the place to be watching football, my friends. There are a bunch of super talented young quarterbacks in the conference. I was going to ask you, in addition to Sangaputele and Bailey, who else do you like amongst the quarterbacks in the conference, Jeffrey?
Well, I like you got the big names. Carson Beck. He's playing, like the way they expected him to play going into the season last year at Georgia before his receivers dropped everything in sight. So now he's got a good receiving crew, a good offensive line, and he's really showing out. He looks like a pro when he's back there. And so I had him as one of the 2 or 3 best quarterbacks in the ACC, and he's kind of exceeded that, just how well he's played. And it really looks like a good fit there. He's probably going to be a first or second round pick, I think, next year. So you got Carson Beck, Haynes King. He is the identity of that Georgia Tech team. The only concern with Haynes King is, can he keep playing like that for the entire season? He's going to throw his body out there, and he's kind of a slight, he's a tall guy, 6'2", 6'3", but he's not built like Cam Newton or anything. So that's maybe something Georgia Tech's going to have to, manage. But they have a really good backup, who may not. He's a little inexperienced, but Aaron Philo could really play. He might be a better passer than Haynes King. So Georgia Tech, okay, I'm not going to say he's the better quarterback, at this point, but he can definitely sling it around. And they have a really good quarterback situation at Georgia Tech. And Angeli there at Syracuse. He can really throw it. I like Lonigan there at Boston College. He was really good at Michigan State. It was really a surprising loss they took to Stanford. That was kind of a shocker there. Mensa there at Duke came in with a lot of hype out of Tulane, and he's played okay. He's played okay. I think he's got better games in front of him. Then you go around the ACC and the quarterback at Virginia. His name escaped me. He's off to a really good start.
Calera?
And Tony Elliott, pardon?
Calera?
I think
Is that Calera? Or did Calera transfer out? It's hard to
I think Calera transferred out.
Yeah, okay. You're probably right. I'm trying to think who's that. Oh, wait. They got to transfer in, though. That's right. I can see him in my mind. Another guy who can run. The other guy who can actually move.
Yeah,
You're right.
Their offense is as good as it's looked in 3 or 4 years, and I think Tony Elliott's got a team that has a real chance to get to a bowl game. So yeah, the ACC is really I think Chandler Morris.
TCU transfer, Chandler Morris, yeah. Whose dad was a big-time coach in Texas, right? Isn't he, what's the name? Chad Morris's kid?
Yes.
Yeah, his dad's a big-time offensive mind down there in Texas, yeah. Of course, and he plays like a coach's kid.
but yeah, Chandler Morris has definitely been one of the surprises in the ACC. But like Bill said, the ACC is really deep at quarterback, and at some point, Klubnik is going to start playing better. I mean, he's too talented to go through this funk the entire season. His receiving core is too good, and I know Antonio Williams, probably the best receiver on Clemson's, been out since early in the LSU game. He's going to have better games, but I don't know if you can at any point this season if you'll put him back in the top 3 or 4 quarterbacks in the ACC. It really is a deep league at the quarterback position, and of course, Thomas Castellanos there at Florida State, and he's probably the most efficient quarterback in the ACC. He's having these 9 for 13 type games and 80 yards, but doing a fantastic job running that offense.
And then Jennings at SMU, though he hasn't had the year I was expecting, he's talented.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even get to Kevin Jennings. He was, the starting SMU quarterback who played so well last year. I mean, you kind of forgot about them because they blew that 2-touchdown lead to Baylor in the final 5 minutes. But I mean, they're not going to just fall off the map. But I'm glad, you mentioned he's going to be JKS to me. I'm glad you read his name, but he can really play. I mean, you watch him and you can just see he is just oozing potential. I mean, every now he'll have like a short screen pass or something and overthrow the, his running back out of there because he's still kind of developing that touch. But I mean, his talent is through the roof, and when the rest of the country sees that, they're gonna be like, okay, that's a future star right there.
Sango Botelli is one of the. If he's not a top 3 freshman quarterback, I don't know what he is. He might be the best freshman quarterback. He's certainly top 3 that I've seen.
Jeffrey, what do you think about LSU starting out 3-0?
Yeah, I mean, when I saw them live against Clemson, I mean, I left that game thinking, that's one of the 3 best teams in the country. But since that time, you look at it and say, okay, well, maybe Clemson wasn't a top 10 team really, and now you look at LSU kind of having their own offensive struggles. I mean, I was telling someone at that Clemson game, I was like, there's no one else in the rest of the year is going to hold them, to 17 points in a game, and then they get 5 turnovers against Florida and only score 20 points. And I think it was Louisiana Tech. They might have won like 23-7 or something. I think with Perkins and that group, that defense is a shutdown defense. I think it's one of the best defenses in the country, but their offense should definitely be better with Nussmeier, because there's some elite offenses in the SEC, and I mean, if they don't pick that offensive up, they're not going to be the team many thought they would with that kind of quarterback. So I mean, I think they're very capable of getting to the playoff. They're very capable of being a national title threat, but that offense is going to have to start to come together. And from what I understand, I guess they're saying maybe Nussmeier had like a torso injury that is affecting his running. So maybe when that heals up, you'll see more of his ability to be mobile, and the offense will start coming together. But I mean, still at that time, you go into Clemson on game number 1, and the hype for that game, and they still left, and clearly they were the better. It was 17-10, but they absolutely controlled that second half. So I mean, they get that offense right, and they'll be one of those teams you'll have on the short list to win the national championship.
Now you got to talk about Vandy before you go, Jeff.
Oh yeah, that Diego Pavia. They went into Columbia and just manhandled South Carolina. I know a lot of South Carolina fans, because we're here in the area, we're like, oh, Lenora Sellers went out. Like, well, you were losing the game before he even got hurt. I mean, he was getting outplayed before that even happened, and then
The kid got some swag. He came in last year with a little swag.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, that's another team. They're similar to Georgia Tech in that way. They go and I mean they follow behind their quarterback, and that's the identity of their team. And if Georgia Tech has got the physical toughness and grit of Haynes King, Vanderbilt's got that swag and that confidence from Diego Pavia. And I think the SEC is probably a little bit too deep and tough for Vanderbilt to come out of it and be a playoff team. But I mean, can they score a few more upsets, go 9-3 maybe, and wreck a couple teams' playoff chances? I mean, absolutely. They have no fear at Vanderbilt, and their quarterback has no fear. Um, Sellers being hurt or not, they absolutely dominated South Carolina in that game.
Yeah, a lot of people.
Pavia Mafia.
Yeah, yeah. I think I read something he's trying for a 7th year, or is that?
Well, supposedly he's not, but his agent is. I don't know how that works. Diego has said it wasn't his idea, supposedly, but yes, his agent is seeing if it might be possible.
Wow.
Oh man. All right, Jeff. Hey, always good having you on the show, talking a little ACC. In a couple of weeks, we'll have you back, see what's going on down there. Maybe start talking about some Heisman possibilities and whatnot. But give us your final thoughts there before you leave us, Jeff.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say the ACC is as deep as some of the other leagues. They're not. The bottom of the league has definitely struggled out of the gate. I mean, we saw what happened with Virginia Tech. They've already fired their coach. They got destroyed by Vanderbilt in the second half, and got clobbered by Old Dominion at home. And we saw North Carolina with we didn't even talk about that. Belichick and TCU, just ran them out of their own stadium. And we'll see if they get things turned around. So the bottom of the league, it is what it is. But the top 5, 6, 7 teams in the league, this is going to be a race in the ACC. Clemson is not just going to completely go away. You got Miami and Florida State, and they've got the chance to have the biggest Miami-Florida State game, in maybe 20 years. I mean, it could potentially be a top 6, top 7 matchup. And then you've got those other teams, lurking in the background, the Georgia Tech and Cal, who could factor in this race down the stretch. Virginia's an improved team, and we wouldn't mention Louisville, who's got a real soft schedule out of the gate, but could be a factor. So, I mean, that race for Charlotte and to get into the playoffs, it's going to be quite a race in the ACC. It's not a one-team league, where I think you're only going to have one team make the playoff. I expect to see multiple, teams from the ACC in that playoff chase. Now, how many they get in the end will be up in the air, but I think there'll be at least 2, and they're come November, there could be 4 or 5 teams that are still, very much in that race, and that's going to be exciting. It's going to be an exciting year of ACC football.
All right, Jeff. Well, always good having you drop by and talk with us, man. Hope to get you back soon. You have a great
All
night.
right. Thanks for having me.
Take care, Jeff.
You too, guys.
Have any of you guys had a chance to watch Arch Manning?
I have watched every single snap of both last year and this year, and I have news for everyone. He is a new starter, finally playing against, a fairly high level of competition, and he looks like a new starter playing against a high level of competition. Shocking.
So he's just another man. He puts on his pants like everybody else. Huh?
I mean, he may have servants who do it for him, but even if that's the case, he's still going to have to play more football. And when I found out, like, he was at one point the odds-on favorite for the Heisman, I was like, what do I get to bet the field? Like, it was just silly.
Well, who's better, him or Shador? Who's better, him or Shador?
Well, I mean, Shador
Right.
is 24, almost 25 years old. Arch isn't 21 yet. Like, that's a silly question at this point. What I would say is that Archibald Charles Manning is just at the very beginning. He is still just barely over 100 pass attempts in his collegiate career, people, right? He's just beginning. The first time he's seeing these things is the first time he's seeing these things. I've seen it in a year, right? And then I'll tell you what I really think I know what he is. I'm not one of those small sample size guys. I'm not going to be like, well, they all, with the old joke, all Indians walk single file, the one I saw did. Like, I like to see him play some more football. But here's what I can tell you. When his mechanics are clean, which they are when there's no, pressure and no chaos going around him, he's capable of throwing the ball extremely well. He can layer it over the top of linebackers and drop it in front of safeties, all that good stuff. Like a lot of young quarterbacks who aren't used to being pressured, when he does get pressured, his mechanics go all the heck. He runs out of clean pockets when he shouldn't. He doesn't feel pressure when he should. He doesn't know how to spot those slot blitzes coming like a guy who hasn't played much football. Like, all the things that are wrong with him are things that I think will be cleaned up in him playing more football. But for people expecting him to just come out and immediately look like the mutant love child of Steve Young, John Elway, his uncles, and Tom Brady was insane. Like, why would you think that?
So this is what Bill is saying.
Because
Bill
everybody's
is politely saying. Right, that's it. Bill's politely saying, because he's too nice a guy. So I'm going to say it for him. I'm going to be Luther, the translator. ESPN sucks. Watch games and form your own opinions, because most of the people that work for ESPN are assholes. It's after 9 o'clock. I can say
it. Bo, I got to ask you, man.
Bo left us.
Yeah, he had to leave the building.
He had to drop off.
Bo had to run. I'm not surprised because he wouldn't talk about Sam Darnold. See, I told him that before he left. So what does he do? He ducks out. He ducks.
But wait a minute.
Okay.
But now wait a minute, because I got some questions down here for you too. I want to know what's happening with my man. All of a sudden, now he's on the IR, but anyway, we'll talk about him down the line. But okay, Demetrius, I'll run it over to you then. What's your thoughts here? The Chiefs starting 0-2, even if it was against the Eagles and
the Chargers. Chargers and Eagles. We're both very good football teams.
Yeah, so I think it's context. You know me, I work in stats. So everybody's going to tell you, only 5 teams since blah, 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 whatever. None of those teams had Patrick Mahomes. That's what I'm going to say, first of all, right? I think since the 14-team format, it's been 5 teams out of 42, which is like 12%. But I think 3 of them were last year. That statistics are statistics for a reason, but there's also sometimes an anomaly, and you have to look at them because, like I said, the talent on that team, the guy that plays quarterback, and the guy that's the head coach. I'm not ready to just go, you're 0-2, you're not going to make the playoffs. The statistics say 12%. Nope. When you really understand how to analyze data, you see anomalies also. So my short answer here is just not worrying about the Chiefs being 0-2. I'm not. They're too good. They will find a way. I mean, they will get there. And once you get there and you got 15 under center, it's a crapshoot. Because there's nobody out there I see who, Kansas City couldn't beat them on the – no, Buffalo's really good. Josh Allen's really good. We're not even going to talk about health and where you're going to be in December, January. If everybody stays healthy, which never happens, they still have 15, and they're going to get a guy back from suspension. That's still a really good football team. Really short answer is the 0-2 statistical probability does not apply to this team because of the quarterback and the coach.
What do you think, Dave?
Well, I mean, one of the things is that their offensive line is they got to correct themselves and give Patrick Mahomes some time to throw the ball. But Kansas City's defense looks pretty good. And I think, and the thing to remember, as Demetrius said, they still have Mahomes at quarterback. And you look at all these other teams. Look how many quarterbacks have gone down in the last couple of weeks. J.J. McCarthy with Minnesota. Uh, Fields was in a concussion protocol. And so at any given time, a team could be in the driver's seat. And if they Burrow, and then all of a sudden that's going to impact them for the rest of the way. So as long as Mahomes is there, and if they can get that offensive line to give them a little bit better protection, and I think that their defense is pretty good. We're just 2 games into the season.
Yeah.
And the Giants will probably be the perfect tonic for you.
Is everybody so happy? Why is everybody so happy because J.J. McCarthy went down? I mean, there's nothing but glee on everybody.
I didn't laugh or smile. I just stated the fact.
We're talking about the Chiefs.
Don't nobody give a damn. Don't nobody give a damn about your sorry ass quarterback.
I mean, that is really something that they put the man. The man's hurt. Okay, the man is hurt.
We're not even talking about him. What are you talking about? Okay. Nobody give a damn about your quarterback.
So what do you think about the Chiefs starting 0-2, Mr. Scott?
Well, I still think they're dangerous. I mean, I still think they can pull rabbits out of their hat. I really do. I mean, yeah, you lost 2, but as some of the other pundits here have said, it's early. It's the beginning of the season. So I can't really count Holmes out until he's out, until I hear the count of 10. I mean, he just he comes up with something, and I think they just have to get to the playoffs. That's all they have to do. They just have to get there. And if they get there, well, I like their chances when they get there.
What do you think, Bill? They're playing the NFC North and then the NFC East, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm actually was trying to finish and post an article about this Chiefs game that's coming up. I'll have to finish it after the show now, obviously. But here's really where this game will be decided, and it's not the things that people have been talking about. Now, Justin Simmons, to his credit, has actually played well. I believe that Brett Veach at some point will make a deal, and they're going to find another mid-priced veteran tackle who's going to probably at least be in the battle for that other job. Seal Matia has looked good and bad at times. I think they're going to try to solidify that offensive line. But this game that's coming up will actually be decided by big plays, the lack thereof. The one thing that we can say about Russell Carrington Wilson is, despite whatever you say about him, he's one of the best deep ball throwers out there. And if they're able to deny the Giants deep shots, particularly to the immensely talented, uniquely talented Malik Neighbors, if that guy played, it's in a major media market. It's sort of weird how little we talk about how great Malik Neighbors is. I guess people don't watch the Giants that much, but I've watched every single Giants game of Malik Neighbors' career, and that kid's special.
So you think the Giants are going to beat the Chiefs? Is that what you're saying right now?
That's
we're talking Chiefs, right? Oh, all right. You have me worried for it.
Now, at that point, I would be concerned.
Okay, because I thought that's where you were going.
0-3 is when you start panicking. Okay, what I am saying is Russell Carrington Wilson, still the best part of his game at this point is the deep ball. He's one of the best deep ball throwers in the game. What the Chiefs will have to do is disrupt the timing of those deep shots by getting Wilson off his spot, by denying Neighbors the rhythm and getting to the spot where he wants to be on the field. They'll have to, basically roll coverage to his side, bump him. Even if it's not with a defensive back, you can bump with a linebacker. You can bump sometimes even with a mobile defensive lineman who just comes out and kind of gives the guy a chuck on the shoulder as he tries to go by. But you want to take away the timing on those deep shots. The Giants want to run the ball, but they're not great at it either. These two teams both want to run the ball better and more often than they do. but the Chiefs give up more easily, right? That's the thing about them.
I can't wait till we talk about the point spread and see who Bill picks.
Yeah, you got me worried. We did a Chiefs topic, and he went into a soliloquy about Russell Carrington Wilson, and I'm like, wait, is he about to pick the Giants? He had me
I
worried.
mean, I've watched every snap of him as a Giant, and the one thing he has not lost is his deep ball. His deep ball is luscious.
Okay.
Yeah, you just well, he should have stayed with Metcalf then, because that's all he can run. But anyway, so let's I see Dave is back, so uh, we'll have to get our stats from Dave a little later before we go into the next phase of our predictions. But Bill, the Colts, they're off to a 2-0 start with Danny Dimes. What's up?
So first of all, the things that jump out at you, right? Here's a guy that people thought was going to come in and be a check down Charlie, but he's not. He's in the top 6 in ADOT, top 6 in EPA per play. He is being efficient. He's being aggressive where it's called for. He is getting the ball to a lot of different players. And I think most importantly, he's avoided, you guessed it, interceptions. They are in the bottom of almost all the negative offensive things. They're near the bottom they haven't given up many sacks or tackles for losses. They've stayed for the most part away from third and long, 3rd and 4 or more. They have converted third down in a very high percentage. They are able to go on fairly long drives, but they're able to get deep plays occasionally. And once again, I mean, Jones is pushing the ball down the field. They have probably the best young tight end that we've seen in a while. So there's a lot going on, good things going on in that offense. And beneath the surprise has been their defense, though. I had real concerns about that secondary, both through losing players to free agency and to injury. But they did a great job of bringing Cameron Bynum, who's a tremendous ball hawk. The Vikings' loss is their real gain. He's been terrific. And while they haven't had like one extraordinary pressure player, I mean, they do have DeForest Buckner, who is a special disruptor on the interior, big, strong, fast. A guy that's sort of like a younger, I won't say poor man's, a middle-class younger man's version of Calais Campbell almost, right? He's 6'7". He's 292 to 304, depending on what day you catch him and what he ate that day. But he moves extremely well. He's good against the run and against the pass. I've been pleasantly surprised by their linebacker play. They've been good on special teams. Spencer Schrader is the #1 kicker in football right now. So they've been good in all 3 phases. There's not a real obvious weakness thus far to the team. Jonathan Taylor has been productive, but they haven't been leaning too hard on him, I think intentionally. They've been trying to take some of the wear and tear off of him. DJ Giddens, who's replaced him at times, has shown explosiveness. Doesn't really understand enough about picking up blitzes and doesn't catch the ball well enough to really press for a lot of playing time. But like I said, there's no real obvious weakness to the team right now. Now, we'll see what happens when they keep playing against high levels of competition, which the Titans are not. So an early peek at the point spread, unless it's more than like 11, I'm probably picking the Colts there.
All right, well, we'll see. Demetrius, we laughed, when we were talking about, they picked Danny Dimes. What about Anthony Richardson? Well, what about Anthony Richardson? What do you think starting out 2-0 there, Demetrius?
Yeah, as much as I hate disagreeing with Bill, this is nothing to me. They beat an awful Miami team week 1, and then they won this past week when they should have lost. But one dumb player makes one dumb mistake on a field goal. They had no business winning that game. The reality is this is the opposite of Kansas City, right? This is the opposite of Kansas. This is a 2-0 team that doesn't impress me. They got the Rams and Chargers coming up, and then they got a 4-week stretch where they got to go to Pittsburgh, they got to go to Kansas City, and they play Houston and Atlanta. If they go better than 1-3 in that 4-game stretch, and I don't know if they beat the Rams or the Chargers. let's talk about the Colts week 9. And this is to me the opposite of Kansas City. This is how statistical analysis works. You say, wait, their week 1 win was against an awfully coached and inept dumpster fire of Miami, and then they shouldn't have won last week. So I don't, and it's not personal to Danny Dimes, whatever. I don't even know what that is. Daniel Jones ain't good enough to have a nickname. I'm sorry. It's not. My much shorter answer is, let's talk about the coach in week 9. Right now, this don't impress me. This is the opposite of Kansas City. If I offered you guys right now, who makes the playoffs, Kansas City or Indianapolis? Who on this show right now is taking Indianapolis over Kansas City? There it is. There it is.
Mr. Scott, what's your thoughts here? I know you were upset about Anthony Richardson. Huh?
Well, this thing, the deck has been shuffled so quick right now. This thing is really, they put all this thing into J.J. McCarthy here. And so, we're
talking about the Colts now, Mr. Scott.
Yeah, but the reason I want to go to that is because Daniel Jones was on our practice squad all year long last year. Okay,
you got Carson Wentz now. That's right.
He was like, well, see now you want to cut me off. Okay, well, you don't want to let me.
Go ahead,
and
Mr.
so
Scott.
yeah, we had Daniel. That was the plan. They knew McCarthy really wasn't ready. And so, and Daniel Jones, I can't believe this. He was sent on a practice squad all year long, but they paid him $10 million to sit there. And so, when Indianapolis came saying you can get a chance to start because they didn't care for Anthony Richardson, he went there. But they really wanted him to stay here. But he said, if you can't give me a starting thing, well, why would I stay here? They actually should have kept Sam Darnold. I mean, this guy gets you this far down the line, and everything is working good. All the stats are good. The running back numbers, the defense, everything looks good. But then they don't want to pay, because they had this number 1 pick that they knew they wouldn't have to pay that much. And they just, thought that this was the way to go. And he's not ready. I mean, everybody could see that. He's not ready. He's not ready. Yeah, I know. Demetrius. I'll be back to you, Demetrius. I know you're so giddy after last week. Oh, everything looks so great now. First week they were no good. Now Jared Goff, you're gonna say MVP, and I'll just sit back and listen. I'm not gonna say anything more. I don't have anything more to say.
Did he answer the question about the Colts at all? Did he even talk about the Colts, or did I miss that part? I was just curious. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
Tell me. What's the question?
Right.
We were talking about
nonsense.
The Colts?
We were talking about Danny Dimes and the Colts starting out 2-0.
I told you what happened.
Yeah,
he was supposed to still be with the Vikings because, how do you pay a man $10 million to sit on your practice squad? I mean,
what are the Falcons paying Kirk Cousins to sit on the bench?
And that's another thing. He might be coming back here. Don't be surprised. Do not be surprised if he comes back here. Don't be surprised.
Sorry, Dave.
Don't be surprised.
That's all right.
He might be back here. Don't be surprised. Yeah, where's the man?
Hopefully we'll get through these before week 3 is over.
Demetrius, they're all just ducking. Oh, just ducking me. They don't want the smoke.
Wow.
Go ahead, Dave.
No, I mean, here's the thing: is Indianapolis could very well be a playoff team this year. Their division, they got Jacksonville, they got Tennessee. Houston is off to a bad start. Now, Houston is probably their main competition, but they could conceivably be a playoff team with Kansas City. Now, would I consider them a favorite? No, probably not. I mean, I think that they're off to a great start. Let's see if Jones can take care of the ball all season. Like what's worked for them so far is he hasn't turned the ball over, like Bill said earlier. And but if he starts throwing interceptions, well, then all bets are off. But right now, they have tennis. They're poised to start out 3-0.
Yep.
And
indeed.
so the Colts, and so I think that they could have a shot at winning their division. If Texas doesn't turn things around.
Yeah. And that was a really hard loss, I think, for the Texans this week. But Dave, the Bungles, they're now 2-0, but they lost Joe Burrows. What kind of impact do you think that's going to have on our division?
Well, it should have a significant one. Browning, I think he led them on a game-winning touchdown drive. And so he played extensively. He did win, but he's not Joe Burrow. And the problem for Cincinnati is their defense. Can their defense keep up with these other teams? So I think without Joe Burrow, that's really going to hurt them. I think Baltimore right now is in the driver's seat because Cleveland, they got their quarterback issues. Cincinnati without Joe Burrow is just another team.
Okay.
What about Pittsburgh? Nobody talks about that. What about the
We'll
Green
talk
Bay?
about
We're going to talk.
Why we have an agenda.
You don't want to talk about that. Yeah, I know.
There's a structure to this.
Because we at least scored more points than 6.
There's a structure to this whole thing, man. Stay with the script. What are you doing?
So anyway, let's go here. Let's talk about the Packers a little bit here, and I'm going to go to Bill here. Bill, what do you think? The Packers, they stuffed the Commanders, and they're off to a 2-0 start. Has Micah already changed the landscape of the NFC North, Bill?
Well, I wouldn't say that he's single-handedly changed the landscape of the NFC North. What I will say is he's freed up the defensive play caller, right? The thing about mismatched pass rushers is they deform the other team, the offense's game plan, right? It takes certain things away from them or constrains them. Now, your every thought starts with protection instead of production, right? Your protection first, production second, instead of production first, protection second when you're drawing up plays. So I would say that teams, particularly teams that do not have great offensive lines, are literally removing parts of their game plan. That's the thing that he does. I had picked the Packers even prior to this trade that brought them Michael Parsons as a Super Bowl team. I thought they were going to have a great run this year. I still think it's going to be a dogfight because, the Eagles look fantastic. There's, the North is ridiculous, right? The Bears are probably bringing up the rear, and they're a better team than they have looked, right? Their defense is solid. Their offense is explosive at times, but usually looks a little bit out of tune. But despite the fun we've had at the Vikings' expense, that's a team that could get hot and win games. Detroit is a team that's been there before and wants to get there again. And like I said, I think the Packers have once again, health is a big thing for every team. But if the Packers are healthy-ish even, that's a team that should probably win 12-ish games as well. So that's an incredibly tight division. But the addition of Michael Parsons allows you, as a defensive play caller, to almost never have to blitz, at least when he's on the field. And then when you do blitz when he's on the field, that guy's going to be the freest of free runners, right? Because at least if he's on the side away from where Parsons is, because when you're sliding this way, if you bring someone, either off the edge or you have you combine it with like a twist or a game up front where someone's able to loop outside of someone who's pinned down as a blocker while you're sliding to try to take care of Parsons, it's trouble. It's big trouble because there's only so many blockers. And they're just keeping everybody in, right? the only solution now is to keep in a tight end and a running back or something like that. Now you only have a couple of people to go out for a pass, right? There's only so many people you can assign to protection. And once again, now you're sacrificing production for protection, as I said at the beginning. So that's the main thing he does, is he forces offensive play callers to sacrifice some of their favorites.
Okay, so now after that soliloquy, you're saying that the Vikings are going to be last in the division. I mean, that's basically what I said the Bears.
Mr. Scott, we're not going to talk
things that no one's ever said for some reason. I love your passion, but it is unsanitary to put words in another person's mouth, sir. What I said is the Bears are bringing up the rear of that division. The Vikings will be in the fight for probably the spot right above them. And so the games against teams like Detroit will be very pivotal. And obviously, if the Packers are really good is their starting players. They have a little bit of a drop-off if somebody gets hurt. They have at most positions, they're not super deep. That's the only issue with that team. Very talented. Their starters are fantastic.
Well, if we let you tell it, okay, fine.
But they have a thinner.
Mr. Scott, we will have a Minnesota Vikings show a little bit later. But right now,
there we go. The Minnesota Vikings segment.
Dave, what's your thought here with the Packers and the addition of Michael Parsons?
Oh, I think right now this trade is looking great for the Packers. I mean that I think it balances their team. That they got a good offense, a good defense, and I think it makes them very competitive in the NFC North. And as long as they're healthy, not all the other teams are, and so that's a big part of the NFL now in a 17-game season is attrition. So I think right now, and again, we're only it's week 2 that we're talking about, but still they look very strong. The NFC North, I think last week I was like questioning whether they were as strong as they were last year, but I think Green Bay is going to be giving everybody a run for their money.
Demetrius, your boys got back on the track. They put up a 50 burger on the Bears. What's up with the Lions there? They're getting some of their guys back healthy again, and they're playing like the Lions. But was it just the Bears or the Lions back on track?
Yes, you said it right. It was just the Bears.
Mr. Scott. We will talk to you in a minute.
I don't even need to do it. I'm fine, James. I know who my team is. For the sake of speed, because at some point we got to go to bed. And if he's going to interrupt everybody to talk Minnesota, why don't we just talk about Minnesota and get to the picks? I don't need to do anything on the line. I know who my team is. I'm good.
All right, well, no, then we got to talk to Mr.
Let's just
Scott.
go to the picks, man. He's wasting everybody's fucking time talking about the Vikings.
Yeah, but we got to talk about the damn Steelers too. I can't, much as I don't want to. So, Mr. Scott, your offense sputtered in your loss to the Falcons. I was only able to put up 6 points. Bijan, he rushed for 143 yards against that defense. Mr. Scott, what's happening? You talk about maybe the return of Kirk. Now you got Penix is hurt. You got Carson Wentz starting. Aaron Jones, I think he's on IR also, right?
I believe so. And again, I'm really not sure why you say these things about the Vikings with such glee. I mean, I don't know. I say, guy, you're just like so giddy about saying, the things that, are not going right for us right now.
I say the same thing about the Bungles. I say the same thing about the Browns.
Well,
I say the same thing about the Blackbirds.
More emphasis.
haven't
it's
given
more
you a
emphasis.
nickname yet.
It's more emphasis with, and then Demetrius and this is gonna be tough. Carson Wentz. I mean, boy, we could have kept the Rocket Man. We could have kept Darnold. We could have. So I really don't know what to say about this. I mean, we play Cincinnati next week, and Cincinnati's quarterback is hurt, and they got the backup who actually looked very good. Browning has experience; he's played in the league, so this is not going to be a giveaway. This is not going to be a giveaway. And Wentz has not played, and he's blown out of 3 or 4 teams before. He had a chance several years ago when he got out of college to go to Philadelphia, and they had the team all behind him. Got hurt. Nick Foles takes it to a Super Bowl. They won the Super Bowl. Where's Nick Foles? Maybe we should get him. So I don't know. The Vikings thing it's upside down right now, and I agree with the other pundits. Green Bay is looking very good in this division, and Detroit. I think they reached their pinnacle last year. I mean, I don't see. They had the thing going last year, and they reached their pinnacle. But Green Bay looks like. Boy, I hated to say it. I thought JJ would be good, but when you really look at the history, he really hadn't done anything in college. Played in a juggernaut Michigan team that ran the ball, played defense. He didn't have to do much. He didn't play last year because he was hurt. But I'm still not going to give the division to Demetrius. I think Green Bay probably would be before that. I mean, we're not concerned about them. They had their chance. That's all I have to say right now.
Dave.
Yes.
Our offense puts up 10 points. 10 points, Dave. That's all our offense put up. We got a touchdown on special teams. The defense, they eat another 30 burger. They gave up a special teams touchdown also. I don't know, Dave. You talk about draft equity, but right now I'm worried about our season. We got some guys out. Who's going to be starting? What what are we going to do here, Dave? Talk to me. You were there on the field. Did they look as bad on the field as they looked on TV?
Oh, it did. I mean, Pittsburgh had a 14-7 lead after the first half, despite Seattle outplaying them in the first half. And what kept them in there in the first half was Jalen Ramsey had an interception. Cam Hayward tipped the ball up, and Nick Herbig got his first interception of his young career. And that's what kept him in the game in the first half. Now, I thought coming out into the second half, Pittsburgh was going to receive the ball. And I thought, well, hey, if they can get even a field goal, that'll make it a 2-score game. And that's just not the way it played out. The offense sputtered. The offensive line couldn't get the running game going. They only had 72 yards on the ground. And Seattle was pumped. And so they go into the fourth quarter, and like when Renegades played, the Seattle players, and I wanted to hear what Bo had to say, but they were pumped. They were very animated and dancing, and they were ready to play. And the Pittsburgh team, they were going through attrition. They had already lost Alex Highsmith to a high ankle sprain. Loudermilk was out with a high ankle sprain. And they were having to come in with defensive subs. And they did stop them, and there was a 3rd and 9 play. And Patrick Queen blitzed in the middle, and Darnold spun out of it. and there was one defender, there was the quarterback, and the tight end. So what is a defender going to do? If he goes with the receiver, well, then the quarterback has a first down. So he stayed with the quarterback, and he just lobbed it over his head for a critical first down. And then still they get down. It's 2nd and 10, and Jack Sawyer, who played for Ohio State last year, he got his first sack. And so it's 3rd and 19. So can we hold him to a field goal? No. And is Seattle going to pass on 3rd and 19? No. They run the ball, and they score a touchdown from 19 yards out. And so really what Pittsburgh showed is that they can have individual spots of brilliance, but on defense, they're not playing as a team. On offense, they're not playing as a team. DK Metcalf had several drops, although he didn't have a touchdown in the game, but he dropped, I think, 2 or 3 passes. And then on special teams, we had the rookie Caleb Johnson returning kicks, and he was mediocre at best doing it. And he had a gaffe. He kind of like dodged the ball. I don't think the ball touched him. Looked close, but I don't think it touched him. But it hit in the target zone. So if the ball hits into the target zone and rolls into the end zone, it's a live ball. And Seattle was there. I think Thornhill or Scotty Miller, somebody tried to jump in there, but there was 3 Seattle guys, and they were just gifted a touchdown. So they ran away with the game. I thought Seattle looked solid. They had a good game plan, and they never panicked. And with Pittsburgh, they just kind of fell apart, and they're just a bad team right now. Now, does that mean that they're going to be a bad team for the rest of the season?
Yes.
That remains to be seen. The difficulties are going up against the Patriots team, who is a good running team and is a good pass rushing team. And that's been 2 of the weaknesses that the Steelers have had. They can't stop the run, and the offensive line has had a hard time protecting Aaron Rodgers, who he was sacked 3 times, I think, but he had a number of hurries during the game. So it doesn't look good, and Pittsburgh has, right now the Patriots are an improving team, but it's I wouldn't call it a must-win game, but
So is this the end of Tomlin?
and loss.
Can this be the end finally and mercifully for the fans?
No,
and for
because number one, there's a lot of, to answer your question, Anthony, for Steelers fans, they want some combination of Mike Tomlin, Terrell Austin, and Pat Myers, the offensive line coach, fired. Well, here's guess what? 2 games into a regular season, it's not like the NCAA, like Jeff Fan was talking about Virginia Tech firing their coach. That's not going to happen. None of those coaches are going to be fired. And even if they did fire them, whoever they bring in is not going to change what's been happening on the field. And right now, the defenders, TJ Watt he went for his 6th straight game, I think, or 7th straight game without a sack. They just have to come together. They have to shed blocks. They have to make tackles. And they were missing tackles, and the defenders weren't able to be shedding the blocks, and that's what they have to do. So right now, I would just say that they're a poor team. They're really performing badly.
Tomlin will be
Rodgers.
2026. Tomlin will be there to 2026. And then, yes, as I've been saying, I think they're going to get rid of Tomlin. I think they're going to get rid of Smith and probably a few others. But this year, like you said, they're safe. Dave, what's our percentages look like here?
All right. So right now, and Don said that he couldn't come on tonight. He had a family emergency, but he said he'll send his picks for tonight and tomorrow. But after week 2, I have 25 out of 64 picks correct. I'm at 39.1%. So don't take the cab with me. I'm not doing very well. Then Demetrius and James, you guys are tied with 31 out of 64 picks. You're at 48.4%. Don is at 51.6% correct calls. And Anthony, week 1, you weren't here week 2, but week 1, you slaughtered it. You're at 59.4%. You had 19 to 32 picks. So just, the rule that James laid out at the beginning of the season is, in order to be eligible to win the season, you have to answer at least 11 of the 18 weeks. And we'll just go by a straight percentage. But right now,
there has to be some type of things going on, because I was in the queue last week to be on, but I was never lit in. Because this is a thing where probably Demetrius or somebody blocked me so that I couldn't get in. There's probably somebody they didn't want my picks to be in there.
Well, it might have worked to your advantage, because you're ahead by 50. You got like an 8-point percentage lead over everybody.
Well, that's Demetrius doesn't want to smoke with me. I mean, it's really him and Bo. You saw how Bo came in and he vanished. The man from Atlanta, where was he? He didn't come. They're
remember, Mr. Scott. Like you always all you got to do is look on the script and do like Don. You can send your picks in. So you're sitting right today. So,
and that's what Don is. Don is going to send in his picks tomorrow morning.
Yeah, So, let's get to our picks tonight, then, guys. Let's see. First game tomorrow night. We have the Dolphins, and they're getting 12.5 against the Bills. The over/under is 49. Bill.
Give me the over, and give me. I just can't believe the Dolphins are as bad as they've looked. They lose this game, but I think they lose it by 11 points. So I'm going to say they deny the Bills.
Yeah, and I think the over/under is 49.5. Is what you said.
Oh, look. I'm still going to take the over. I think it's a bit of a shootout, which actually helps the Dolphins.
Okay, Bill. The Packers giving the Clowns 9.5, and the over/under is 42.5.
I'm going to take the over again, and this time I'm going to lay the points, though I don't like it. I don't like that number. I wish it were a little lower, but I'm going to. Though it will barely go down my throat, I'm going to swallow the 9.5.
I'm going to take the Bills and the over, and I'm going to take the Packers and the over. Mr. Scott, you like the Packers?
Oh yeah, I love the Packers. Packers.
They're giving 9.5.
Yeah, I'll take that. And don't like to give up points, and I hate the halves. Oh boy, I hate the hooks. Can't stand it. I mean, this is what the bookies do. I can't stand them bookies. That's terrible that they do that kind of stuff. But I'll take the Packers, and I'll take the over.
And what about the Dolphins and the Bills?
Boy, that's a scary one. The Bills obviously are the better team. I mean, it's really, but the Dolphins want to show some life, but I got to take the Bills and the over. I just can't take Miami,
Okay. What do you got there, Dave?
I have Buffalo in the over and Green Bay in the under. Cleveland has a good defense. I'm gonna ride, and I don't trust Flacco, so I'm gonna take the under there.
Who you got, Demetrius?
I think the purpose of the half is to avoid a push, right? That's
Yeah.
why everything's a half. Okay. I'm taking Buffalo because I'm on record as saying I think Miami might be the worst team in football. And I'm taking the over. It's got Detroit, Chicago, 50 burger written all over it. So Buffalo in the over. I'm going to take 9.5 points because I don't think Green Bay is as good as everybody else does. The game's in Cleveland. And I think, like Dave, Cleveland has a good defense, and I'm taking the under. So I think they'll stay within. I'm not saying they're going to win the game. They're going to stay within 9.5, and it's going to be a low-scoring game. So in this case, I take Cleveland, the 9.5 points, and the under.
Okay. Sticking with you, Demetrius, we had the Rams, and they're getting 3.5. They're playing the Eagles, and the over/under is 42.5.
I thought it was 45.5.
45.5.
45.5. That was the Packers I was looking at. Sorry about that. Yeah, 45.5.
I am taking the Rams because I think the game's going to be close, maybe a field goal. But I'm going over.
Okay. And the Raiders are playing the Commanders. The Raiders are getting 3. No hook, just 3. And the over/under has the 44.5 hook.
I'm going to take the Commanders and the under.
Okay. Bill.
Yeah. Well, at least on the second game, I'll have what he's having. I will also take Commanders in the under. And then on the first game, so we corrected it. It's 45.5, right?
Right.
Yep.
So I'll take the Eagles are giving 3.5.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think they'll barely cover it. I think 4 is the number they get to. So I'm going to say the Eagles will cover, but just barely. And I will take the under. I think that ends up being a real defensive battle.
Okay. I'm going to take the Eagles and the over, and I'm going to take the Commanders and the over. Mr. Scott.
Oh man, that's tough. I'm going to take the Rams because I think Stafford is better than Jared Goff, and so I'm going to take the Rams. And I think so I'm going to take the Rams on that. Eagles, they're tough. I mean, come on now, Eagles, Super Bowl. But I'm going to go the other way, take the Rams, and then the other game,
Raiders and the Commanders, and it's 3, no hook, just 3.
I got to take the Commanders to bounce back. I got to take them to bounce back. Yeah.
What about the over-unders?
Oh, the Eagles and Rams, I'm going to take that over. And the Raiders, I'll take that under the 44.5, right?
Yeah.
So you got Washington in the under.
Yeah.
I believe it's on you, right, Dave?
Yep. I'll take the Eagles in the over, and I'm taking Washington in the under.
Okay. Sticking with you, Dave, we had the Jets, and they are getting 7. Playing the Bucks, and the over/under is 44.5.
Yeah, and I think Justin Fields might have been ruled out. He was in a concussion.
Yes, Justin
protocol.
Fields is ruled out. He's ruled out.
So I'm going to take Tampa Bay in the under.
And the Colts are giving the Titans 3, and the over/under is 43.5. Dave.
Well, we talked a lot about the Colts. I'm going to take the Colts in the over. I think this is their chance to be 3-0.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Colts in the over, and I'm going to take the Bucks in the over. Bill.
Well, as they say, follow that cab. I'm going to take the favorites and the points like I think you both just did. And I think I'll take the over in both of those games. Let me just confirm. What was the totals for both those games again?
44.5 Jets Bills and 43.5 Colts Titans.
Yeah. I think
So you taking it over in both?
Yeah, because I think there'll be a defensive score in each of those games. So if it were just offensive scoring, I think it would end up right around the number. But I think in each game, there's a defensive score that puts it over.
Demetrius.
I like the favorites. I like the Bucks and the Colts, but I like the under in both. I don't see a great offense in these games personally. Tampa can score when they need to, but I'm going to take the under in both.
Mr. Scott.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Bucks to cover, and I'm going to take it under. And then I will also take the Colts, but I'm going to take that one over.
Okay. Dave, the Steelers are getting 1.5, playing the Pats, and the over-under is 44.5.
Yeah. Well, like I said before, the Patriots have a strong running game and a strong pass rush, and that's a weakness for Pittsburgh. So I'm taking the Patriots, and I'll take the under in that game.
Okay. The Falcons are giving, the Falcons are getting 4.5. I think, yeah, that's right. The Falcons are
Is that
getting,
right?
yeah, that's what,
They're giving 4.5.
Yeah.
the Falcons
Falcons
are,
are favored, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
against the Panthers, and the over-under is 43.5, Dave.
Okay. Well, Atlanta showed that they could score, so I'm going to take Atlanta, but I'm taking the under in that game.
I'm going to take the Pats and the over. I don't know, the over. I'm going to take the Pats and the under. And I'm going to take the Panthers. No, I'm going to take the Falcons and the over also. Bill.
I'm going to take the Panthers. I don't think they went outright, but I think they end up turning this into a back and forth affair. And I think that the Falcons pull it out at the end, but only by a field goal. And I think it's going to be a bit of a shootout, so I'll take the over. And then what was the line on the second game?
The Steelers are getting 1.5, and the over under is 44.5.
Oof. I will take the Steelers, but I'm going to take the under.
How many defensive players are we missing this week, Dave? 3?
Well, if you include, right now we don't know about Elliott and Joey Porter. Deshaun Elliott and Joey Porter are questionable.
Right.
Derek Harmon is questionable. But Patrick Queen is playing, and Darius Slay is playing. And they put Loudermilk on injured reserve.
All right. Did I get to you, Mr. Scott? No, I didn't. I know you. What are you saying here, Mr. Scott? The Steelers getting 1.5. Over under is 44.5. The Falcons are giving the Panthers 4.5, and the over under is 43.5.
I'm taking the Patriots, and I'm wondering if I could get double if they tell Tomlin he has to walk back home instead of getting it on the plane. If I could get a double on that, but I'm going with the Patriots. I'm going with the under. And then I am taking the I don't like the Falcons. I'm taking the Panthers and the under.
Right. Did we get everybody, Dave?
Not Demetrius.
Demetrius.
I'll take the Patriots and the under, and I will take the Panthers and the over.
Okay. Mr. Scott, we have the Bungles coming to the Vikings. The Bungles are giving the Vikings 2.5. The over-under is 41.5. I think that's the lowest total, is that the lowest amount of points? I think so. What do you got, Mr. Scott?
Well, I mean, actually,
The battle of the
on
backups.
reality, well, in my reality board, those games are off. But for these purposes, since I'm going with people like Demetrius and them, they can't beat me. So I'm gonna take. God, I have to take the Bungles. I just think the Vikings. I just think that they have really got some real issues here. I'm gonna take the Bungles in the under, and I'm gonna take the Texans in the over.
Ooh, okay. Um, Let me see. I think I'm gonna follow that cab, Dave.
All
Uh,
right.
Demetrius.
I will take the Vikings and the under, and the Texans and the over.
Bill.
Okay, so the line on the Texas game was what number again?
1.5.
1.5, and the total was.
43.5.
I'm going to take the over, and the Texans are getting 1.5.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, then I'll take the Texans. And then the other game was.
The Bungles are giving the Vikings 2.5, and the over under is 41.5.
I'll still take the over. I think people are underestimating both backup quarterbacks. Those are decent, but not smothering defenses. I think that 21 points between each team is not going to be quite that difficult to come by. And it's being played in Cincinnati?
Minnesota.
Splitting in Minnesota.
Well,
Here,
then,
man.
kind of a coin flip game. I'm going to give the advantage to the home team. I'll take the Vikings.
Yeah, I'm taking Minnesota in the under. The game with the backup quarterbacks.
Yep.
And Houston, I think that they got to get. They thought a lot of people thought they were a stronger team, so that they really have to do something against Jacksonville. So I'm going to take Houston in the under.
Okay. Staying with you, Dave. We got the Saints. They're getting 1.5, and they're playing at the Seahawks. The over under is another 41.5.
How much are they getting? Sorry. What's the line?
7.5.
7.5. Okay.
Wow.
That is a lot.
Well, I don't know if we're going to have the week 1 Seattle Seahawks or the week 2 Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, really.
I'll stick with the week 2 Seattle Seahawks and take the under.
Okay, and we got the Broncos and the Chargers. Broncos had a tough loss last week, but they're playing at the Chargers. The Broncos are getting 2.5, and the over under is 45.5.
Yeah, Chargers are pretty good. I'm going to go with Denver in the over.
Ooh, okay. Demetrius.
I'm taking 7.5 points in an NFL game, and I'm going to go with the under. So Saints in the under. I like Denver. Chargers are a bit impressive, but I like Denver, and I'm getting points. But I think that's going to be a shootout. So I'm going to go with the over. Denver in the over.
I'm going to go with the Chargers in the over, and I'm going to go with the Seahawks and the over. Mr. Scott.
I'm going to have to go that same route. The Seahawks in the over and the Chargers. But I'm going to take the under in that because Broncos have a defense. Chargers in the under 45.
Okay. Did I get Bill?
You did not.
No.
It's on you, Bill.
Okay, Seahawks in the under, Chargers in the over.
All right. Staying with you, Bill. We got Jerry's boys, and they're giving the Bears 1.5 at 49.5 is the over under. That's a big number.
I'm going to take the under, and I'll take Dallas.
Okay. And the Cardinals getting 1.5 at the 49ers. Over under is 43.5, Bill.
I'll take the Cardinals in the over. I think the Cardinals might win that game outright.
Well, isn't Purdy supposed to be? I think Purdy's. I'm not sure if he's out, but I know he's supposed to be hurting anyway. I'm going to take.
I don't think it matters if he plays or not. I think that the 49ers are not as good as people might have expected, and I think the Cardinals are better than people realize.
Well, who's going to play quarterback for the 49ers?
Doesn't matter. He's picking the Cardinals.
Yeah.
But who's going to play? Because Purdy can't play, right? Purdy's out.
Purdy's probably going to be out for another couple of weeks with a turf toe.
Yeah.
But I think even if he played, the Cardinals would win.
No, I thought Burrows is the one with the turf toe. I think.
No, they
Purdy's
both have a
the
turf
shoulder.
toe.
I thought Purdy was the shoulder. Okay. Go ahead, Mr.
They have a
Scott.
shoulder also.
Go ahead, Mr. Scott.
So which games are we at?
We're at the Cowboys getting 1.5. I mean, giving the Bears 1.5. The over under is 49.5, and the Cardinals are getting 1.5 playing at the
Okay.
49.
Yeah, when you say Jerry's guys, kind of threw me. I don't know why you wanted to. You disparage people sometimes. You disparage the Cowboys and Jerry's guys, and I mean, I
discouraged the Bundles.
I'm taking
I
Dallas.
discouraged the
I'm going to
Bundles.
take Dallas. I'm going to take Dallas. Bears are no good. Bill, I know this. I hope this isn't a dagger to you or anything. Bears are no good. Mr. Manicure, I don't care for Mr. Manicure quarterback. He's, I really don't. But so I'm taking the Dallas, and I'm thinking maybe I'll take the game over, and then I'm going to take the 49ers in the under.
No. Did you change his name? I thought he was the world's tallest midget.
I did. Well, see,
if you were talking about discouraging people, I would just.
No, Mr. Manicure is Caleb Williams.
Go ahead, Dave.
I'm taking Dallas in the over, and I was going to take San Francisco in the under. I'm going to take Arizona in the under.
Okay, Demetrius.
Follow that cab.
Okay, I'm going to do the same. Let's see. Okay.
And by the way, I agree with Bill. I think the Cardinals are going to win that game outright.
Oh, all right. Well, I'm still waiting for Harrison to catch on in my damn fantasy league, but that's another. Yeah. Anyway,
don't worry about him. He'll be fine.
Tell him to put up more than 9 points there, goddamn.
Well, I guess the retort would be, why didn't you take Michael Wilson, the guy that scores the touchdown?
Because he wasn't available.
Yeah, that's probably the answer.
Not where he was available when you picked Harrison. I can promise you that.
Oh yeah, he did. He sure was. He was available up until I believe 10 o'clock this morning.
You maybe should not evaluate your fantasy guy after week 2. Maybe give him a few more weeks. That's
another possible answer, yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, all right. So let's see. Dave, we have the Chiefs giving 5.5 to the Giants, and the over/under is 44.5.
Got to go with the Chiefs in the over. It's time for them to get on the winning track here.
All right. And the game of the week, we had the Lions getting 6. The Lions getting 6 at the Ratbirds. And the over/under is 51.5. Remember, we had that last time when we had the Ravens and the Bills, and it wasn't 50; it turned out to be 80.
Yeah.
So, Dave,
Yeah, I'm going to go with the home team in this case. I'm going to go with Baltimore in the over.
And the Chiefs and the Giants. Oh, you did the Chiefs and the Giants. Okay.
Yep.
Bill?
I will take the Lions in the under, and I will take the Chiefs and the over big. If I could tease it up to 8, I'd still take the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs kind of take out their frustrations on the Giants.
Hey, there's a pick. You can have a pick 2 or a pick 6 at DraftKings. So if you want to try for, Mr. Scott, I wonder what you're going to pick here. But so the Chiefs are giving the Giants 5.5, and it's over under is 44.5, and the Lions are getting 6, and they're playing at the Ratbirds, and the over under
Yeah,
is 51.5.
I just have to stick with the Chiefs and Mr. Mahomes until they knock him out. I mean, I just have to take him, until he gets knocked out. Giants, they're not that much of a Giants no more. I'm not worried about them. And as far as the under and over, I'm gonna take the under. And then for the Lions and Baltimore, Baltimore will annihilate them. They will annihilate them, and it's going to go over. It'll be annihilation, and it's
Okay.
going to go over. Because Detroit will score some points, but they're going to do stupid stuff, going on 4th down and kicking. So they will annihilate them, and I'm taking Baltimore and the over.
All right. Okay. I hear you. Dave, what are you taking?
I already went. Kansas
Okay.
City in the over and Baltimore in the over.
All right. Bill.
He went.
Bill
I
went as
went
well.
already.
Okay.
It's me and you. It's me and
It's
you.
on Demetrius then. And
Oh.
I don't know. Only thing that we're concerned is the over under. We know who you're picking, but go ahead.
Yeah, I like the Chiefs and the under and the Lions and the over.
Okay. I'm going to go with the Chiefs and the Lions. I can't. It's hard for me to say
Well,
right.
maybe we should do something on the side on this game because this game, Baltimore, like I say, they're at
Well,
home.
You mute him.
They're gonna run
Can
the
you mute
Hugh.
him?
what were you thinking?
We run them out of town.
Okay. Well, Mr. Scott, with that, I'm going to let you have your final thoughts then.
Well, James, did you pick the over-unders in those 2 games?
Yeah, I took the Lions. I took that 6 points, and I'm taking the over. And I took the Chiefs and the over.
Okay.
Final thoughts there, Mr. Scott.
Well, I just have final thoughts. It's always good to have the good conversation. And I know people don't agree with me, but in the world we live in, agreements and not agreements, that's fine. There's really nothing wrong with that. I mean, when I come here to enjoy the camaraderie. I come here to just commiserate with people about sports. And the thing is, I do all this historical work, on the communities and stuff here, but sports has always been something that has always been an equalizer for me. When I played football, when I played baseball, it didn't matter who the guy was next to me. It didn't matter who was the shortstop. It didn't matter because we were just teammates. And I think sports is something that, some people don't like sports. Like why we would go to Super Bowl parties and she's down there with the girls doing, eating food and laughing and talking. But I think sports is, it's very important. And I think it's a way of us to say, yeah, we can disagree. We can go in there and we can go and box and football and basketball. And the winner wins and we shake hands and go home. And I guess that's my final statement.
I ain't shaking your hand. You forget that, bro.
Well, some people, you
keep your hand to yourself. How about that?
Bill,
good.
Your final thoughts, Bill.
So, On this day in 1947,
Oh, that's
Jackie
a good
Roosevelt.
year. Yeah, there you go.
Yep, Jackie Roosevelt Robinson was the inaugural Rookie of the Year named by the Sporting News. And he had a really good season, but of course, what he did, how he did it, outshone anything he did as great as player as he was. 6 years later to the day, the Cubs called up Ernie Banks in 1953, and he became the first black player on their team. And in Hahnemann Hospital, at almost exactly this time, actually maybe a couple hours before this time, Eastern, in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Thelma Ellen Young Carroll and William Carroll welcomed as it was described in his charts, a precocious Negro baby boy into their family. That was what the chart actually said. I'm not making this up. If I ever do write an autobiography, it would be called Precocious Negro Boy.
That's the name of the book.
But my father sort of baptized me into sports fairly young. On my third birthday, I was taken to my first college football game, and I watched Dal McCauley run wild against NC State and set a school record of 226 yards rushing against NC State. I have expressed myself, my love, my frustration, my knowledge, my hopes, my dreams, my aspirations through sports. And I think where sports wins out over politics is that while we can point to soccer hooliganism and sadly in some places in Central and South America, sometimes even people being sometimes murdered over the outcome of a sporting event, generally speaking, we are satisfied with a satisfying bit of shit talking and letting it go at that for the most part. Sports divides and unifies simultaneously because the passion unites us, even as Mr. Scott pointed out, our rivalries and our differences about who we root for divide us. And I think sports forces us to realize that the thing that we're so passionate about is actually not that important. Like in the moment, it feels like life and death. But as soon as it's over, we realize it's not. We realize that life and death is life and death, and that sports is sports as soon as it ends. The thing about society in general and politics and things like that is sometimes people think that it's life and death even after the game is over, right? They can't just walk away. They can't just say, oh, well, I won or I lost or we'll get them next time. And unfortunately, we are at a place of yelling and talking and whatever at as opposed to with each other. So the thing I love about being on the Sports Krib, the thing I love about the fact that we're all over the map in what we care about in terms of sports and society and politics and religion and God knows what else. But at the end of it, we all look forward to talking to each other again, no matter what we said to each other. And, you know, who dunked on whom or who scored points on whom and who we're trying to get back at next week. We do it with a sense of love, a love of the sport, and frankly, a love of each other. And I want to say that I love each and every one of you here, at least in part because consistency is a way of showing love, right? I'm not about to, quote Troy Maxson up in here. Those who know the great Troy Maxson's role as created originally by the late, great James Earl Jones on Broadway in the amazing play Fences by the late, great August Wilson.
Great
But
play.
Once again, sports is a major part of that story. If you've seen the play, the movie's pretty good, but please see the play or read the play if you can't see the play, but please see the play if you can. So much of what we think we know about America is not fully understood if we don't first say America's loves, hates, extremes, and in-betweens are really well expressed in sports, right? If you don't know sports or understand sports, you never fully understand this country. It is impossible to fully understand America unless you understand sports. Yeah. Not a single one of us every single one of us here has been in a business meeting somewhere where someone said, well, what's the game plan? Who's quarterbacking this meeting, right? Oh, I gave so-and-so the assist on that presentation, right? Every single one of us, even with people that don't even like sports, they They express themselves through sports, in business, in life. It is so deeply interwoven into us and into this country. I hope that we will turn to sports in times like this as a way to better express ourselves to each other, and that is my final thought.
Dave.
Yeah, two things. The first, some sad news in the Pittsburgh sports world. Dale Lawley, he was a longtime sports writer, editor, commentator on Steelers Nation Radio. He passed away at 58 years old, and young guy, and he was working up until August, and then all of a sudden you didn't see him on the byline. I guess he had cancer last year in the mouth, and then he was fighting pneumonia this year, and unfortunately he passed away, which is really sad. I met him in Las Vegas last year. Very approachable guy, very easy guy to talk to. And so the Steelers Nation, I think, for those that knew Dale Lawley or listened or read to his writing, we'll miss him. For my weekend, I mentioned when I opened that I had a great weekend. Everything was fantastic except for the game. And, one of the things that made it great, I went up Friday, and this guy from Iowa had rented out a house literally 2 blocks from Rooney House, which is still there at 840 Lincoln Avenue in the North Shore. But throughout the weekend, we probably had 80 people coming through there Friday night, Saturday during the day, and even people came after the game. But these were people of all kinds of different backgrounds, different colors, different religions, different political things, and some strongly opinionated people, especially after what happened last week. But the only thing that really we had together is that most of us had met through social media, either X or Facebook or Instagram or whatever, and we were all Steelers fans. And it was a really fantastic weekend. And then we all got along, and the socioeconomic backgrounds were widely different. We had some very wealthy people, some people not so wealthy. There was a homeless guy that was walking up the road, and he looked hungry. And one of the girls, the daughter, one of the mothers, brought him up onto the porch, gave him a plate of food, and he was able to share time with us. And the guy didn't really say much. He did eat his food, and I think he appreciated it. But it was a special time. And then after the game Sunday, I was able to go to PNC Park for a special screening of a documentary about Roberto Clemente, and it's called Clemente, and it was I think his 3 sons produced it, and it was a great reminder. Went through his life. It kind of, some of the stuff I wasn't quite sure if it was all accurate. But, one of the things with Roberto Clemente that a lot of people lose is that he didn't have to do what he did. I mean, there was an earthquake in Managua. He was arranged several flights to get there, but then there was news that not all of the aid was getting to the people in need, and that the Somoza regime, that maybe they were confiscating it. And he had been to Nicaragua before, and he was very well known in Latin America as a baseball player. He had hit his 3,000th hit. I think that was his last hit in September of 1972. So what he did, and he didn't have to do it. I mean, he had already arranged 3 flights, but I think this was the 4th flight. He decided he was going to accompany the shipment. And there was other people that wanted to go on this cargo plane with him. And he goes, no, it's New Year's Eve. Go, you guys go out and have a good time. This is for me. And he felt strongly that if he went, that the government there, because he was so well known, that they would make sure that the aid would get to where it had been directed. And unfortunately, the plane crashed. It was overloaded. There's a whole story about the plane, and it should have never happened. Today, it probably wouldn't have happened, but he was lost. His body was never found. One of the things that most people are familiar with the loss of Roberto Clemente. A lot of people are familiar with the Immaculate Reception, but what they don't connect are two events. The earthquake in Managua happened the day that the Immaculate Reception was being played. And so the loss of Roberto Clemente was basically 1 week apart. And so to me, that's really when you saw Pittsburgh transition from a baseball town to a football town. And it was the loss of this great man. But this is the way he led his life. He had told his wife, and I've heard his kids talk about it before. He never thought he was going to grow old. But one of the things that he said, the quote was from Roberto Clemente: anytime you have an opportunity to make a difference in this world and you don't, then you are wasting your time on earth. And to me, that's just a great message. I think more than a baseball player, he was a great man. And so, it was just a great way to finish the weekend. So this film should be coming out over the next few weeks. I don't know if it'll be on the History Channel or Discovery, but it's called Clemente. You can probably Google it, and it's probably not the greatest production, but for me, it was very special because it was just a great reminder of what a great man Roberto Clemente was, and what an impact he had on a lot of people.
That reminds me of something here in Minnesota, real quickly, of Paul Wellstone. And Paul Wellstone was a politician that was going to, be president, and he dies in a plane crash. It just all of a sudden, as a young man, he's gone, and he had, such. It just reminded me of that. That's all I'll say. It just reminds me of that.
Speaking of documentaries, they're in the process of editing down the documentary that I am going to appear in about Sid Luckman. And I haven't seen it yet, but the people who have screened it said it looks really good. So it won't probably drop until the end of this year, maybe early next year, but I'll let you know when it actually is going to be released.
Demetrius, take us home, my man.
First and foremost, happy birthday to my friend Bill Carroll. I will see you Saturday, my man.
Thank you, sir.
We will celebrate for real. Second, I'm going to stay with the theme, and the word I'm going to use is transcend. It transcends everything. Sports transcend. I'll give 3 relatively quick stories. One, I am in Krakow, Poland, at the airport on a business trip, and I'm wearing a Michigan State shirt. I see an individual deplane, and I can see his shirt is green. And I swear, all I caught was a glimpse. And I heard him yell, "Go green." And if you go to Michigan State or there's only one answer, is go white. And I didn't even look for him. I didn't try and find him. I just yelled, "Go white." Like in Krakow, Poland, I didn't know the guy. And my rule is, if you're wearing a green and white shirt with that logo, I don't care about your politics. I'm going to acknowledge you, right? Like right now, one of my most hated enemies is on the screen, but he's wearing a Muhammad Ali shirt. So I got to like him right now. I want to be mad at him. I want to call him names. I want to fly to Minneapolis and talk to him. But he's got on a Muhammad Ali shirt. And anybody who knows me, here we go. You know I'm talking, right? Anybody who knows me knows I have 15 Muhammad Ali T-shirts. I got a picture of Muhammad Ali in my office. Everyone knows the reverence I have for that individual. You wear a Muhammad Ali shirt, we're friends. I don't need to know your name. I'll know your name.
My wife bought me this shirt. I think it was her wishful thinking. She bought me this shirt.
So my second quick story is at work this past week. Heated conversation about politics with somebody. We don't see eye to eye. The conversation was respectful, but quite difficult. We had enough intellectual respect that it was tough. But when the conversation was over, he said, You doing your podcast Monday night after the Ravens game? I said, you goddamn right I am. He was like, I'll be listening. And now that's how we ended. After going 45 minutes, kind of heated on some tough stuff. We're leaving the conference room, and he says, it'll be midnight. Yeah, I'm doing it. He's like, I'll be listening. Cool. Last one is my best one, 1991, Auburn Hills, Michigan. The Detroit Pistons are playing the Portland Trailblazers for the NBA championship. The game's in Portland. Maybe game 5, game 6, don't remember. Vinny Microwave Johnson hits a shot with less than 1 second left to win the Pistons the second of their back-to-back titles.
0.7.
Now, it was a cool thing to do to drive to the arena, pay $10 for charity, and watch the game on the screen. Me and my friend Art do this. We're talking the whole game. I don't even know that there's somebody next to me, but there is. When Vinny hits this shot, I turn to high-five this man. For shits and giggles, he's white. He's wearing overalls. He's legitimate 6'5", 400 pounds. I have not spoken to him all day. We have both watched this game, and we haven't even acknowledged each other. Vinny Johnson hits that shot. I turn, thinking I'm going to high-five him. This man picked me up like a small baby, and I'm 6'3", 220. He didn't hug me. This man embraced me. I don't know. We're jumping up and down. He's holding me, 6'3", 220, and he's jumping up and down because the Pistons just won the NBA championship. He didn't care. He didn't care about anything else. My politics, where I'm from, my name, none of that. We were transcends everything. Transcends race, transcends age, transcends everything. If I see you in Krakow, Poland, and you're wearing a green and white shirt, we're friends. I don't care about anything else. That's the thing that people who don't love sports, like the 5 of us are, for currently me, because I'm out of town, and Dave, it's 11:30 at night. James don't give a damn. It's probably what, 8 o'clock back there, whatever. Right? He doesn't care, right? But even for Bill and Mr. Scott, it's 10:30 at night, and we're on here talking about sports. The rest of this stuff doesn't matter. It transcends everything.
Everything.
And that's the beauty. That's always been the beauty of it to me. When that man hugged me, my friend Art said, "Do you know him?" I said, "No." But who cares? I don't even know him. We just won the title. Like, that's the beauty of it. Staying with the theme of it, to me, transcends is the word. Transcends everything. The nonsense doesn't matter. If you're wearing a Lions shirt, I don't really care about the rest of that. Let's go. Or a Muhammad Ali shirt in the case of tonight. I'm gonna let all the shit you did tonight go because of the shirt you're wearing.
Well, when I come to Detroit, I'm gonna sort you out. When I come to Detroit,
you gotta let me know, because for the record, I live north of Chicago, so you got to come to Chicago. Detroit is home, but I live north of Chicago.
Oh, you live north of Chicago. Well, my cousin's in Hyde Park. You live in that area?
No.
I can be. Yeah,
I live closer to Hyde. I live close to Hyde Park.
That's
I
what
got
I'm
another cousin
doing.
in South Holland. I got another cousin in South Holland.
Well, you're damn near in Indiana. You're basically in Indiana. We'll find you. If you're in town, let us know. We'll find you.
And my buddy's in Maywood. So, you know.
Oh, where I used to work. Yes, I know Maywood very well.
Yeah,
Of course, the birthplace of Fred Hampton and lots of other. Well, another show. That's a whole.
Yeah, my buddy.
Well,
his cousin is Doc Rivers.
Oh,
and his uncle is Jim
Proviso
Brewer.
East High School.
His uncle is Jim Brewer. They all live out in Maywood. They're all
Proviso East.
Nice.
well, but my final thoughts for the night, gentlemen. I don't usually talk a lot of boxing, but congratulations to Bud.
Bud! Woo!
For those of you who don't know, Bud is from Omaha, Nebraska.
Yes,
Probably, just
like Bob Gibson,
Canelo Alvarez. So big shout out to Bud and his team. As you guys said, sports transcends it all. So have a good night, everyone.
If I remember correctly, the same neighborhood in Omaha produced Bob Gibson, Bud Crawford, Marlon Briscoe. I think it's Bob Gibson, right? And somebody else.
Wow.
Are you familiar with Ron Boone? Ron Boone was from Omaha, ABA all-time scorer in the ABA. You know, good friend of mine. Yeah.
I used to root against Ron Boone because, of course, I was a Virginia Cavaliers fan, so I remember him all too well.
I love it.
All right, guys. Have a great weekend. Hopefully, I'll see everybody next
All right.
week.
Next week.
And
I hope
we'll
I hope your Steelers rebound. I mean, I know you and Dave. I know you really got.
I hope so.
Hey,
Doesn't look good though. You saw the way James and I picked.
What did I say? 6 and 11. Yeah, but we'll see. All right, guys.
Have a good night, guys.
Talk to
Good night.
everybody
Take
next
care.
week.
If
Bye-bye.
you are in Chicago, come see me.